So just recently, Tesla shares hit $1,000. That's a first for Tesla. They almost reached that in Q1 of 2020 back in, I think it was like January, beginning of January, whenever they hit their delivery numbers, and no one expected that. And their stock price literally soared from like mid 300s to pretty much $900. And that's amazing. Obviously came back down slightly, and then with the COVID pandemic came down even more. But overall, you get the idea. They hit $1,000. I think their highest is, I gotta check, but I think it's like 1025, something like that. It's pretty high. That's $1,000 a share. And at that point, they were valued at more than Toyota. Toyota is literally the biggest car manufacturer
in the world.
The world. I hope I could say in Jeremy Clarkson voice, but I really can't. So just imagine his voice, because I don't know how to put in his words, and like he has a very nice deep tone. Talks like this. Very, very good, my friends. Anyways, okay, that's Jeremy Clarkson. So why did it hit $1,000 a share? I feel like that Tesla actually went into, I was gonna say production, but they didn't actually go into production. The Tesla Semi went into production, which makes total sense because Nikola made their IPO, right? Nikola just had their IPO just recently, and their stock price more or less soared in the beginning. I feel like it might come down because they don't actually have a viable product. Whereas with Tesla, when they did go IPO, they had a product. It was the Tesla Roadster, and everyone who had one, pretty much literally everyone who had one, loved it. And nowadays, it's becoming a classic to the extent that they're increasing in price. The demand is there, no one wants to sell. Price goes up. Simple as that, basic economics. So what can I say about the stock price actually soaring? The thing about the Tesla Semi going to volume production is that it's a commercial vehicle. So chances are me and you aren't gonna buy it unless you're like one of the rare people who are actually gonna buy it. But mostly it's companies. And companies would love the semi-truck. It's electric, which means it's super cheap. Now, it's electric, which means it'll have great traction. Now, it's electric, which means, sorry, not electric, I meant it's a Tesla, which means it will have full self-driving. Yes, might not have like full self-driving in the initial release, but it'll have enough full self-driving that it can probably navigate the highway, and most of the driving you do is on the highway anyway. So Tesla showcased this image right here, I'll put it up on the screen. A Tesla Semi followed by another Tesla Semi, followed by another Tesla Semi. And the ones at the back, the two at the back, don't actually have a driver in them, and the one at the front does. And basically, I think the driver's just there to just, maneuver and just direct it. For example, taking like a turn in a city street. Obviously, Tesla will have mastered full self-driving by then, but not right now. They don't have it right now, and I don't think they'll have it in a couple years. Yes, but no. That makes sense. Like, no with regulations, but yes in the sense that they'll have the beta software working properly. Everyone can do it, except you'll need human supervision for like minor few cases. You can't actually go to sleep, but it'll be enough that you can basically take off your hands. All you have to do is sit there and just watch it do everything. So what do I think is actually going to happen? Well, they're going to start volume production. They're going to start delivering this Tesla Semi. It is because it's an industrial because it's an industrial vehicle, they have to actually rate it to industrial standards. And because of that, they were delayed, which is totally understandable because the product that they usually get out in the end is usually so much better than the one initially promised that I think the companies will gladly wait it. More than gladly waited. They would have been like, oh, this is a great product right now and we love it and it's a good thing. Sure, it's like a year or two delayed. It's totally fine for us because it's saving us money in the long run, and overall it's an amazing vehicle. So now coming back to the Nikola IPO. Nikola makes trucks. Well, they don't make trucks, but they hope to make trucks. And the thing about that is you can't go based on hope. They don't even have a viable product. I haven't even seen one obviously I won't see one on the road anyways, but there just haven't been any on the road. I think it was like 3-4 years ago they unveiled a Nikola semi-truck. It's like a battery and a hydrogen truck. They didn't really work on their hydrogen infrastructure. The truck isn't really here. So I have no clue what's with that, but essentially this is what I think. Nikola is a new company, and people, because they've seen Tesla grow, they want to invest in more new companies, so growth companies. And you see the Tesla, imagine you had Tesla back in like a year ago. Their stock price was like around 200, under 200. Now they're essentially 1,000, 980, 90, basically 1,000. So you've basically quintupled your money within a year, which literally sounds like a scam. If you told anyone a year ago, it's like, oh, invest in Tesla, and then you know what's gonna happen later in like just a year? You're gonna quintuple your money. Everyone would have thought you're crazy, because back then so much news was out there telling or saying Tesla's gonna go out of business, they're gonna literally go bankrupt or whatever it is, and that's why the stock went down so much. And then we got the quarterly results in Q3, and then you get to Q4, and I think that just threw it out of the ballpark. Now they're at $1,000 a share, and basically the most valued car manufacturer out there. So the Tesla Semi was just one of those factors that led Tesla to get to $1,000 a share. $1,000 isn't really like a goal mark, right? They're still a relatively new company. They're still growing, I'll tell you that. They're not necessarily new, but they're still growing. They're still in the early phases. Car companies are old, basically 100 years old. So most car companies are that old, whereas Tesla isn't really that old. They're like 10, 15 years old, more or less. So if you count it on that basis, they only really started delivering cars about 11 years ago, their Tesla Roadster. Then they started more volume production with their Model S in like 2012. And then the Model 3, the more mainstream, which is more or less becoming like a Honda Civic, because basically everyone modifies them essentially. If you want to modify a car and you want to buy electric, you buy a Model 3 and you mod it. There's no question about it. It's basically a law at this point. Essentially, you have to do some kind of modification. Doesn't matter what it is. You can add like a wrap like right here somewhere, but there has to be some slight modification. So now they're getting to volume production of the Model Y, which is about 6 months ahead of schedule. 6 months. They were never ahead of schedule with anything in the past, and this is a one vehicle that they're ahead of schedule with. Counter that in with the fact that the Tesla Semi is going to volume production. You have the Tesla Roadster. It's delayed, of course, but still the insane specs. The Cybertruck, whatever that called, Jay Leno reel that came out. What the hell was that? Seriously, come on. I thought it was going to be so much more. They literally showed nothing. All those factors together, and then combined with a few other factors about Nikola going IPO and they're going to volume production. Just overall, it led the stock price to go above $1,000. Now, it's not like it spiked up $1,000. It was more or less a steady increase anyways. It was about 700. I remember when Elon tweeted it, the stock price is too high in my opinion, IMO. Basically, stock price dropped, went to like around 700, below 700. I think it went to like 690. And then it started coming back up slowly, went to like 750, then like 800. Then it stayed at 800, 850 around there for a while. Then it went higher than 850, went to like 900, stayed there for a while. Then it went up to like 950. And basically, it's just a factor of all these things that led it. So it wasn't necessarily a spike that just happened in a day. It was overall, over time, it took about a month. Which is really short in the stock market term. But essentially, it's not overnight. It took a while, but it's not overnight. So that's what we can attribute this cause to. Well, not the cause, but the stock price is actually higher than it seems. Alright, so thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. I hope I gave some meaningful info about this. I'm not exactly sure. So yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.